everybody, welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. This week I have a very unique thrift flip for you. It is a little bit all over the place because it's just an experimental piece for me. I really needed to play around with my pin art fine line crackle a little bit more, so I end up doing that on this piece and kind of taking a little shift from what I originally planned. And right now I'm just doing some prep work and adding a hole for a knob. I knew that I wanted to put some kind of knob on there. This was just a handmade box that someone had probably done in shop class or something. And the lid was a little bit tight, so it definitely, I knew it was going to need some kind of knob or something because any little bit of layer of paint was just going to add to the tightness of that. It also had some carved details, so I did some texture with my paint to go ahead and cover those up. And that first white layer is just a primer. I went very heavy with my texture mixture here. Very thick peanut butter consistency. I wanted to do texture for the aesthetic of the piece anyways, but it's also going to keep me from having to fill all these lines in that were carved onto the sides and front. One thing to keep in mind when you're picking a color, if you pick something brighter like this, or a little bit of a crazier color as I call it, you can always tone it down when you add a patina or wax to it, and even a glaze. Anything that darkens it up, it can really look nice after that. And there's nothing wrong with the color as it is either. It just depends on what look you're going for. And now I'm just going to apply my texture and paint all over the exterior of my piece, except for that bottom part that I already painted. And it did not need the texture medium on the bottom. I am applying this with a stipple motion, which is just dabbing it on. Once I get the entire side covered, I'm going to go back and put it heavier in just certain spots, and that just is to add to the look of the piece. So now I'm going to move on to my favorite part because my box is fully dried, and I'm going to be breaking out the clay. I just love this part. It's my favorite because I never know how it's going to turn out or what I'm going to even use. Sometimes I have a mold in mind and sometimes I don't. I just get my bin out and figure it out as I go. So initially when I get my clay out, I like to get it workable first, and where it's not sticking to this rolling pin like it is here right now. I usually work it in my hands and then start rolling it out until I can roll it out smoothly, and then I know it's ready to use. I did get a little overzealous here and forgot to dust my mold. I usually give it a little dusting with cornstarch first, but I got lucky that this one released, and it's probably because I haven't used this mold before. So this is one that is perfect for behind a piece of hardware, and that's going to be on my top portion since I am adding a knob of some sort. I think this week this mold is going to win my most overlooked craft supply because I haven't used it and I've had it for so long. And I'm really thinking of a lot of pieces I could have used this on to really step their game up in the past. As I go and decide on layouts, I'm going to go ahead and attach my moldings to my piece with Titebond clear quick and thick glue. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up for you guys, but just know it is a slower process and it's fun to get a little bit of clay under your nails every now and then. Alright, so now it is time for some paint. And I'm going to go ahead and get all of my clay pieces, a layer of paint that matches the background. I like to make sure I spin my piece as I go, so I'm not missing any major spots. I always like to wait till my clay is fully dried before I paint it. I really like this lacy looking mold. I would have preferred to put it up higher, but because the piece opens the way it does, I had to put it underneath that lid. So I'm using some stenciling on the side. These are going to be extremely rustic stencils just to get a little bit more color on it. These two stencils are very cheap from Hobby Lobby, and they have almost seen their better days at this point as well. So it's a good thing I am doing a rustic stencil. But this is a quick stencil blend, and this is a great technique that you can use to just really take a project to the next level. I always prefer 2 colors to 1 whenever you can. It's just going to give it that much more of a professional look. And I am just doing a rough blend, but I'm making sure to put my second color into my first color a little bit, and that's going to naturally blend them. There's literally no method to my madness here. Just random placement and random colors. I love a bohemian look. These stencils are perfect for that. Whenever I stencil with paint, I go ahead and spray them with a repositional stencil adhesive, and I do that outside before I bring them into my office to use. So while I had these paints out from stenciling, I decided to go ahead and paint my moldings. However, later I do go a different direction that covers these up again, but this is a very cool technique and very pretty, and could have been a final look for this piece if I wouldn't have added a liquid patina later. And now I'm just taking a little scraper and just very gently getting some of the sides scraped down just a little bit of distressing. So I originally had this for decorating cakes, but it turns out it's perfect for little art projects as well. I just am layering a piece of parchment over this, and I'm going to add my little project, and now I can spin it and paint it easier. My next few steps are going to be a little bit messy. First off, I want to go ahead and seal everything I've gotten done so far. And this is a clear coat by General Finishes with a satin finish. So now is when it becomes more of an experimental piece for me. I'm not sure if the Pen Art Fine Line Crackle will work when you paint it vertically. I know the top is going to be laying flat, but I want to do all of it at once. I don't want to have to sit and wait because there's a long wait time with this for the crackle to appear. This is a 2-part crackle, and I'm going to be doing the first step, letting it turn clear again, and then going back over with the second with a brand new brush. To help me with patience here, I timed this to where this was right before bed, and so I should be able to mess with it again when I wake up. I wasn't sure how the crackle would look between these moldings. I haven't done it this way before, but we'll see. So that's why it's more of an experiment. So now I've had a good night's rest and forced patience. So I'm going to go ahead and add my hardware. Going to grab a big, nice, warm mug of coffee. And for this one, I want to use the liquid patina. I do have to help force the cracks on my pieces. I don't know why. It's different for everyone. Depends on your house, your humidity, where you live. I mean, there's so many factors. And I could use a wax paste or this liquid patina. Here's where I do cover up my pretty blue paint. And I didn't necessarily intend to do that. I thought I would be able to wipe more of it off. but I could not, even with it being sealed. The whole point of using this product is that it's supposed to seep into the crackle, and that's what you're going to see with the fine lines. I do like the serious aging that you get from liquid patina as well. It's also a very strong product, so I open the windows when I do this. I used my dryer on the sides as well to force some more crackle. I didn't get a ton because, like I said, they were painted vertically. And I do think that that matters with fine line. I haven't used it enough to give too much advice on it, but I do like to show you guys what I experiment with as well, because maybe it will teach you something to do or not to do. It's also very glossy and kind of hard to see the way that my camera light is, but you'll see it better when I'm completely done. So now I just really want to highlight these moldings better since I did cover up that paint. And we're going to do some pink. It's like a shimmery pink called Galactic Halo, and blend it into gold. My gold wax is a Rub and Buff, and the pink shimmery wax is by Redesign with Prima. I'm basically putting the pink on the middle of my moldings and then going back with the gold and kind of just giving it a border and a blend into that pink with the gold. You have to use a solvent-based sealer when you use the fine line, so I chose to spray it. And here's my final result. I do love the look I ended up with. It wasn't what I had in mind when I started, which is how the best things do come about typically. I think this is a really cool finish. It's very unique. I'm fine that I didn't get a ton of crackle on the sides. It's just enough really to still have that beautiful rustic look that I personally love so much. I hope you enjoyed watching and have an awesome week.